Welcome, class. In this presentation, we will focus on logo design and examine existing logos to see what makes them successful. We'll also talk about the process for creating a logo design. Take a closer look at all the logos here. Do you recognize all of them? I've desaturated all of them, and even without the color, they should still stand on their own. Which logo stands out for you? What shapes can you notice? What do you notice about the typography? Which of the logos do you wish were different? What features bother you about certain logos? What would you do to make it different? Brands rely on logos or brand marks to perpetuate their identity on all of their goods and services. A brand mark represents the brand. After years of integration into markets and regions, brand recognition solidifies. Most of these logos are globally recognized. Any drastic changes or modifications to a brand mark is very risky after brand adoption is widely accepted by the market. Logo design is one of the most challenging and possibly rewarding aspects of being a graphic designer. Seeing a logo that you developed out in the wild is very rewarding. Some design firms only do brand identity campaigns in logo design. They are paid handsomely for their work. This internationally known logo has a unique feature that some people don't recognize immediately. Can you see it? Look between the E and the X. Do you see it now? There's an arrow indicating the movement of packages. The logo was designed in 1994 and is a combination of two typefaces, Universe and Futura. Here's another widely recognized logo. Do you notice anything about it that's unique? Look at the smile. Notice the location of the smile. Notice what the smile starts on and what it ends on. It starts on the letter A and ends on the letter Z. This speaks to the idea that Amazon ships anything from A to Z. This smile is what Jeff Bezos refers to as, "We deliver smiles to doors." So logos aren't just pieces of type and graphics. Logos represent a brand and tell a story. Through research, designers gather information on the brand and brainstorm ideas that yield visual cues that can be used to create concepts that will then be tested and vetted by consumer groups and agencies to come up with the best ideas to put forward. The Nike logo swoosh. In Greek mythology, Nike is the winged goddess of victory. The logo is derived from goddess's wing. The swoosh is a sound that we hear when something zips past us quickly by our side. This word stands for fast sound, speed, and motion. This is the reason that the logo is in a shape that shows an arch of movement. What we are looking at is a logo mark. This is an earlier version of the Nike logo with the text Nike on top of the swoosh. This would be considered a logotype. A logotype is usually the name of the brand. The typography is usually customized. This is a chart that shows the evolution of the Nike logo from 1971 to now. The original version of the logo was rejected several times. Nike only paid $35 to the designer who created it. You can see that the one constant is the swoosh. It took the designer 17 hours to create the swoosh. Note the typographical differences between 1971, 1978, and 1985. It started as a serif face type and then went to sans serif face type. The 1985 version seems to fix the kerning between the characters in the 1978 version. The present version focuses slowly on the swoosh. This is from the Nike football soccer brand guidelines from 1998. Notice that although the logo is slightly different, there are parts that are consistent, including the swoosh. All the typography is the same as well. And this is how the Nike logo is applied to apparel and accessories. Again, note the differences, which are slight, and the parts that are consistent. And this is how Nike portrays their logo in ads. Brand expansion is the broader messaging that comes with the brand moving out into different consumer markets. Nike represents almost every major sport across the globe. In these two ads, one for basketball and one for golf, the typography is treated in a different way. The photography is dramatic. The swoosh is the consistent attribute throughout all of Nike's campaigns. We've seen some successful brand logos. Now we will look at the process for creating a logo. So the first step is gathering information from the brand, the company. Collect words that describe the brand, understand what the brand does and what it sells. Then do visual research. Use brainstorming to find visuals that relate to the brand. A mood board is a great way to do this. You may use photography to convey what you feel represents the brand. Find icons that may convey meaning from the brand. Since typography is very important, it's important to do font research. Start looking for fonts that could represent the brand. Certain brands like Nike use bold, sans serif faces, while others may use handwritten faces or even monospace fonts. Then start sketching ideas in thumbnail form. Through iteration, you can create multiple combinations and find things that work together and find unique solutions. Try to vary size, weight, and color. Try the logos at various sizes. Check all of the line weights to see if they hold up at distances. And try different color combinations. Polish the final piece for delivery. And then apply the logo to different applications. This is an example of a logo and how it was created. Notice that there's an S inside of the H, and notice how that it was built from just lines and circles. Always start in black and white. Always start in black and white, and color will come later. Black and white provide the necessary contrast you need to distinguish all of the parts of the logo. Notice here the accuracy of these drawings. Notice the geometric shapes. Notice that it's mostly circles and lines. Notice that on the example on the right, the angles are precise, and the drawing is very, very precise. So as much as possible, use geometric shapes to create your logos. A lot of logos were created from basic shapes. So it's better to solve the design with shapes than to break out the pen tool and try to hand draw the elements. The whale logo here is created just by simple circles. The Twitter logo is also created just by simple circles. Notice here how many simple rectangles and circles are used in conjunction with each other to create the bird's eyes, feathers, and to give it form. One of the most recognized logos in the tech industry, the Apple logo, has a lasting impression and in particular style, a minimalist simplicity. That logo was also built the same way. You can see the pattern here with circles. This goes back to 1977. Color is very important for brands. Color sometimes is the main recognizing attribute of a brand. Coca-Cola's red is recognized globally. The yellow McDonald's arches are easily identified in the streets and on their products. The red and blue of the Pepsi logo give it an American feel. Color has an emotional connection with consumers. Consumers will often associate color with a brand. Apple has experimented with color in its ad campaigns, keeping the logo mark, but introducing it in various colors. Contrast is also important to have a logo stand out from the crowd and to give it a presence. The Coca-Cola logo on a black background still works, but it's a little bit more challenging. Here, the Coca-Cola logo on a red background is practically lost. The Coca-Cola logo on a white background is the best option for clarity. Coca-Cola has used its logo for black background for its Coke Zero product. The logo is also used on a silver background for Diet Coke. Even the best of intentions often lead to failure. Just do a Google search on logo fails on your own time. You will be surprised. Here we'll take a look at what happens when a logo doesn't meet consumer expectations. The 2012 Olympic logo for London cost £400,000. It was instantly criticized by the design community. It even offended one country so much that they pulled out of the Olympics that year. The classical Olympic rings and the word London are included, but the rest is indiscernible. Gap changed its logo in 2010 without any announcement. It was such a departure from the old logo, and they received such a backlash from the loyal consumer base that they reverted back to the original logo. Sports logos, seen on jerseys, hats, and other merchandise, are bold and colorful. Here are some characteristics of sport logos. Bold, thick lines, bright colors, sharp contrast, monochrome, meaning that there's not that many colors involved, and have high energy. Here we can see in this example of the Hartford Whalers logo that negative space is being used to include the H inside of the W where the whale's tail at the top is. Shape. Here the Tampa Bay Lightning's logo uses simple shapes to convey a lightning bolt. The oval behind it and the tilted presentation imply movement. The use of shadow provides distance. The Flyers logo uses the P for Philadelphia, wings for the Flyers, and in the center there's an implied puck and stick. This Lion's Head logo uses bold lines and a limited color palette. A lot of sports teams may use 2 to 3 colors for their branding. They also have to consider how the branding looks for their home and away jerseys. This Snakes logo uses bold graphics and effects. Note the highlights and shadows. So in summary, you want to research and gather inspiration as much as possible. You can use Pinterest and other resources like Google Images to find inspiration. Make clever use of negative space. Use color and contrast, and those are extremely important in how they can convey meaning. You want to make sure you test logos in different applications like t-shirts, mugs, banners. Simplify as much as possible without sacrificing identification. Logos should be readable at any size. This is very important, especially for business cards and other applications where the logo size is greatly diminished. Logos should be immediately recognizable. That's something that can happen over time, but if you have an impactful logo, it can be recognizable right away. Brand recognition is established over time with the number of impressions.